The land of Aetna welcomed Daedalus in his fatigue, and Cocalus, taking up arms at his request, was praised for his kindness. Now, Athens no longer pays its mournful tribute thanks to Theseus's deeds. The temples are adorned with garlands as they worship Athenas and other gods with sacrifices, offerings, and incense. Theseus's fame has spread to Argive cities and the nations of Achaia, all seeking his aid in times of peril. Even Calydon, despite having Meleager, humbly begged for his help. Their plea stemmed from a boar sent by Artemis as her avenger. It's said that Aeneas, seeking blessings for a bountiful year, neglected to honor Demeter, Dionysus, and Athena, angering the gods. Artemis, particularly offended, sent a monstrous boar, fiercer than any in Epirus or Sicily. Its eyes glowed with fury, its neck bristled like spikes, and thunderous roars emanated from its mouth, scorching the land. It devastated crops, vineyards, and olive groves, sparing neither flocks nor herds. People sought refuge within city walls until Meleager and a select group of youths united in pursuit of fame. The two sons of Tyndarus were there, one famous for boxing, the other for his skill in horsemanship. Jason, the builder of the first ship, was present too, along with Theseus and Pirithous in happy unity. The two sons of Thestius, Lynceus the son of Aphareus, and the swift Idas were there. Sanius, now no longer a woman, and the valiant Leucippus, Acastus, famous for the dart, Hippothos, and Dryas were present as well. Phaenix, the son of Amintor, the two sons of Actor, Phyleus sent from Elas, Telamon, and the father of the great Achilles were also there. With them were the son of Phares, the Hyantian Iolaus, the active Eurytion, Achaeon, invincible in the race, and the Neretian Lelex. Panopeus, Hylius, bold Hippasus, and Nestor, still in his early years, joined them. Hippocoon had sent some from ancient Amycla, and Penelope's father-in-law was there, along with the Parrhasian Anchius, the wise son of Ampycus, and the descendant of Eclus, still safe from his wife. Tegean Atalanta, the glory of the Lycian groves, was also among them. A polished buckle fastened the top of her robe. Her plain hair was gathered into a single knot. The ivory keeper of her weapons rattled, hanging from her left shoulder. Her left hand held a bow. Her appearance was such that you might say with reason that she looked like a boy in a maid, or a maid in a boy. The Calydonian hero saw her and immediately sighed for her, against the will of the gods. He caught the hidden flame and thought, "Oh, happy will he be if she shall vouchsafe to make anyone her husband." The occasion and propriety allowed him to say no more. The mighty contest now engaged him. A wood, thick with trees untouched by age, rose from a plain and looked down upon the fields below. When the heroes arrived, some set up nets, others unleashed the dogs, and some followed the tracks of the boar, anxious to discover their own danger. There was a hollow channel where rainwater often flowed. The lower parts of the channel were covered with bending willows, smooth sedges, marshy rushes, osiers, and thin reeds with long stalks. Aroused from this spot, the boar charged violently into the midst of the enemy like lightning from bursting clouds. As he charged, the grove was leveled, and the crashing noise of the fallen wood echoed. The young men shouted and held their weapons with strong right hands, their broad points brandished. The boar rushed onward, scattering the dogs that barked at him, wounding them with sidelong cuts. The first spear, thrown by Achaeon, missed and made only a slight cut in a maple tree. The next spear, thrown by Jason of Pagasae, missed its target because too much strength was used. "Phoebus," prayed the son of Ampycus, "if I have worshipped you, grant me the favor to hit this target with an unerring weapon." The god consented as much as he could. The boar was struck but not wounded. Artemis removed the steel head from the flying weapon, so the shaft hit without a point. The boar's rage intensified, and he became as fierce as lightning, his eyes glowing and flames breathing from his chest. Like a stone launched by a tightened rope at walls or soldier-filled towers, the boar charged into the youths, striking down Eupolemus and Pelagon, who guarded the right wing. Their companions bore them away as they lay prostrate. Onesimus, the son of Hippocoon, did not escape a deadly wound. The boar cut the sinews of his knee, causing him to fall as he tried to turn and flee.
Perhaps, too, the Pylian Nestor would have perished before the Trojan War. But using his lance planted in the ground, he leaped into the branches of a nearby tree. Safe in his position, he looked down upon the enemy he had escaped. The boar, having sharpened his tusk on the trunk of an oak, stood ready for their destruction. Trusting his newly pointed weapons, he gored the thigh of the great Othryades with his tusks. The two brothers, not yet constellations in the heavens, were distinguished from the rest, riding horses whiter than snow. Both brandished the points of their lances, poised in the air with a tremulous motion. They would have inflicted wounds if the bristly monster had not entered the shady wood, a place impenetrable by weapons or horses. Telamon pursued him but fell headlong, tripped by the root of a tree. While Peleus lifted him up, the Tegean damsel fitted a swift arrow to the string, bent the bow, and let it fly. The arrow, fixed under the beast's ear, grazed the skin and dyed the bristles with a little blood. She was no more joyful at her success than Meleager was. He is supposed to have observed it first, pointed out the blood to his companions, and said, "Thou shalt receive due honor for thy bravery." The heroes blushed in emulation, encouraged one another, raised their spirits with shouts, and discharged their weapons without any order. Their very multitude hindered the weapons they threw, and it baffled the blows aimed. Behold, the Arcadian, wielding his battle axe, rushed madly to his fate and said, "Learn, O youths, how much the weapons of men excel those of women, and make way for my achievement. Though the daughter of Latona herself should protect him with her own arms, still, in spite of Artemis, my right hand shall destroy him." He boasted with self-confident lips, and lifting his double-edged axe with both hands, stood erect on tiptoe. The beast, seizing him thus bold, directed his two tusks to the upper part of his groin. Ancaeus fell, his twisted bowels rushed forth with plenteous blood, soaking the earth with gore. Pirithous, the son of Ixion, advanced straight against the enemy, shaking his spear in his powerful right hand. The son of Aegeus, at a distance, said to him, "O thou dearer to me than myself, stop, thou better part of my soul. We may be valiant at a distance." His rash courage was the destruction of Ancaeus. Thus he spoke, and hurled his lance of cornel wood, heavy with its brazen point. It was well poised and likely to fulfill his desires, but a leafy branch of a beech tree opposed it. The son of Aeson also hurled his javelin, but by unlucky chance, it missed the beast and struck an innocent dog. The javelin went through the dog's entrails and pinned them to the ground. However, the son of Aeneas had better luck. He threw two spears. The first stuck in the ground, but the second hit the beast in the middle of its back. There was no delay. As the beast raged, spinning its body around and foaming at the mouth, the son of Oeneus approached. He provoked the beast further and drove his shining hunting spear into its opposite shoulder. His companions cheered in delight and tried to grasp his victorious right hand. They looked in awe at the huge beast lying on the ground, unsure if it was safe to touch it yet. Nonetheless, they all stained their weapons with its blood. Jason himself placed his foot on the beast's head and said, "Receive, non-Acrian nymph, the spoil that is my right, and let my glory be shared by thee." He immediately gave her the skin, thick with stiff bristles, and the head with its huge tusks. Both the gift and the giver pleased her, the others envied her, and murmuring spread throughout the group. The sons of Thestius, stretching out their arms and shouting loudly, said, "Come, lay them down, and do not interfere with our honors, woman. Do not let your beauty deceive you, and let the donor, seized with passion for you, stay away." They took the present from her, and the right to dispose of it from him. The warlike prince did not tolerate this. Indignant and full of rage, he said, "Learn, you thieves of another's honor, how much deeds differ from threats." And he pierced the breast of Plexippus with his sword. Plexippus did not expect such an attack. Toxius, unsure of what to do, both wanting to avenge his brother and fearing the same fate, was also struck down by the prince, who stained his weapon with the blood of both brothers. Althea was offering gifts to the gods for her son's victory when she saw her brothers being carried off the battlefield, dead. She shrieked and filled the city with her lamentations, changing her golden garments for black ones. Once she learned who killed them, her grief turned to a thirst for vengeance. There was a piece of wood that, when Althea was in labor with her son, the fates placed in the flames, saying, "We give to you newborn, and this wood, the same period of existence. They then departed, and Althea saved the piece of wood by sprinkling it with water and hiding it away. This wood preserved the life of her son. Now, Althea brought forth this wood and ordered torches to be heaped around it. She hesitated 4 teams before finally applying the flames, both the mother and sister within her struggled, influenced by different affections. Her face often turned pale with the fear of the impending crime, and at other times, rage made her eyes glow red. Her expressions fluctuated between cruelty and compassion. Even when her fierce feelings dried her tears, new tears would flow. Like a ship caught between contrary winds and tides, Althea wavered between 2 strong emotions. Eventually, her sisterly desire for vengeance overpowered her maternal love, and in this unnatural act, she showed a twisted kind of affection. Lofty Calydon now lies in ruins. Young and old mourn, both common people and nobles lament, and the Calydonian matrons, devoted to Aphrodite, tear their hair and bewail him. His father lies on the ground, polluting his white hair and aged features with dust, and curses his prolonged life. But his mother, knowing the ruthless deed she had done, punished herself by piercing her entrails with a sword. Even if a god had given me a mouth with 100 tongues, an enlarged genius, and the whole of Helicon. Besides, I still could not describe all the mournful expressions of his unhappy sisters. Regardless of shame, they beat their bruised chests. While the body still existed, they embraced it over and over again, kissing it and the bier it lay on. After he was reduced to ashes, they pressed the ashes to their breasts and lay prostrate around the tomb. They kissed his name cut into the stone and poured their tears upon it. Finally, the daughter of Latona, having had enough of the calamities of the house of Partheon, transformed them. She gave them wings that sprang from their bodies, except Gorge and the daughter-in-law of noble Alcmena. She stretched long wings over their arms, made their mouths hard and beak-like, and sent them, thus transformed, into the air.